Hi, thank you for tuning into this tax tip of the week. Today's topic is around DAC6. Since most of you are having a reporting deadline upcoming on 31st January 2021. Frida, can you give me some insights to DAC6 and your experiences?
Thank you, Jonas. Well, there's a lot to say and consider when it comes to DAC6, but I'll try to keep it as short as possible today. What we see in our experience, what many organizations are doing is that they're doing some kind of impact analysis. So they're doing this mainly for two reasons, both for looking back in time from the start date of the directive, which is the 25th of June 2018, to see what potential arrangement they could have implemented from that date on. And that could be potential transactions, reorganizations, or other events that kind of meets the criteria for being a reportable arrangement. We also see that they use this impact analysis to identify recurring activities or processes that they are doing on a day-to-day basis or monthly basis or so on, that they need to monitor going forward in order to identify these and assess them and report them to the local tax authorities. Further, what we also see and assist different clients with is to establish policies, instructions, and processes in order to have the relevant employees to identify and assess and also report these arrangements in the future. So having a process also going forward. We have also helped clients to implement these processes, but also to implement technology in order to both report, but also document the different assessments that are being made in order to fulfill kind of the compliant needs of the organization. Internally within Deloitte, we are working a lot with having a close look at the different guidance and clarifications that are being published by the different local tax authorities. At least in Sweden, the Swedish tax agency has been very active now in November and December, which means, at least for us, that we have felt the need to go through the different arrangements we have previously assessed to see if we need to reassess them and take another position based on the new guidelines that are being published.
Thank you, Frida. And do you have any recommendations from your side to those clients out there preparing or for the first filing deadline?
Well, I have three recommendations. So the first one is actually from our Finnish colleagues. You may know that Finland started to report already in July 2020, so they have already been reporting for a while. And what our Finnish colleagues experienced when they started to report was that a lot of companies had prepared by reviewing what they had done in the past that is reportable when starting to report. However, what many had not planned for was to set up processes to be able to identify arrangement coming up in the future. So my first recommendation is to make sure that your organization has a process in place to identify and assess these arrangements going forward. So you have that kind of in your day-to-day processes and work. My second recommendation would be that you check in with your organization. And with that, I mean that you reach out to the relevant employees within your organization that has to kind of identify these arrangements going forward. Reach out to them and remind them that the reporting obligation has started, that it's clear to them what their responsibility is. For example, what should they actually look out for in relation to DAC6? And also, if needed, inform them if any new guidance has been published that is affecting your organization that they need to keep in mind. The third recommendation is, if you have not already been in contact with your tax advisor, contact your tax advisor. You should do this for two reasons. The first is, of course, to kind of establish a good communication so you know when your tax advisor needs to report an arrangement where you are involved and being reported as a relevant taxpayer. But the second reason you should do this is also to ensure that your tax advisor is allowed to report. And the reason for this is that there could be situations where a tax advisor is not allowed to report. And that could be if there, for example, is covered by legal professional privilege. a legal professional privilege would mean that the reporting obligation of the advisor could be transferred to the client, or that would be you as the relevant taxpayer. And legal professional privilege differs very much from country to country, kind of who is covered and what is covered and so on. So my advice would be just reach out to your tax advisor and make sure what is applicable to your tax advisor in the different jurisdictions where you're using tax advisors.
Thank you, Frida. This is very insightful and definitely something to keep in mind. DAC6 is really an area where good processes and technology is important to become compliant with the new regulation. But noting that most entities will have their first deadline on 31st January 2021, and from then monthly. Thank you for tuning into this tax tip of the week. Stay tuned for next week. Thank you.